Hell.
What's up, everybody? I'm Joseph, this is Global Vagrant, and this is our first ever vodcast. I'm here with Cody Wesson. He's actually from the same area I'm from in the United States, and he's been living down here on and off for about, 4 years?
4 years, more or less.
I want to talk to him kind of about Brazil, and probably more specifically Sao Paulo, because that's where he is, that's where we are right now. And what part of Sao Paulo actually are we in right now?
We're in Guaianases. It's a neighborhood on the outskirts of Sao Paulo. So it's basically if you leave farther out of here, you kind of leave the city. It's kind of ghetto, but yeah, so this is where I live.
Okay, yeah, so to start out, it is kind of far out, and it is a little bit beat up, but it's not technically a favela, which I'm sure if you've heard about Brazil, you've probably heard about favelas, which is kind of like the crime-ridden ghettos of Brazil. But this is not one. And what kind of separates it from being one?
Yeah, so the former slaves, when they got like released, they created their own little neighborhoods and stuff out of whatever they could, like, you know, scrap wood and like just whatever. So just kind of different from here. Like, this is just kind of lower class and everything, but this is how like the average Brazilian lives.
Okay, so here we are in almost a ghetto, where it's like not a high quality place. But we were downtown, and it was very nice. I felt like it was almost, it was definitely comparable to a Western city. Maybe not like as big or as nice as like a New York, but when you're downtown, you didn't feel like you were in any kind of a slums or any kind of a danger. You just felt like you were in some Western city somewhere, only it was full of Brazilian people. And we're talking to Raisa, and those areas are pretty expensive. So if you're going in an area like that, expect to pay a lot more than if you're coming and you're staying kind of out and you're in an area that's more ghetto like this, or closer to a favela type area. Which, honestly, I would rather come to, if I'm going to a country, I would rather stay in a place that's out and a little bit more the actual people who are more common people in there. Would you?
Normal Brazilian.
Yeah, like a normal Brazilian. That's who I'd rather be around and kind of see that side of the culture than staying in the ritzy area where the tourists go and things of that nature. You want to go to the touristy areas at least so you can say you've been there.
Yeah.
But when you're actually experiencing a country and you're experiencing a place, I like to be where the heartbeat is, where the people of that country are, like the normal people.
Yeah,
and you see the real culture of the area.
I definitely think living out of a suitcase in a hotel is overrated. You don't really get the real Brazilian life, or anywhere in the world. I feel like if you stay in a hotel or even sometimes a hostel, like, you're not actually living how they live, but like living in a Brazilian home with a Brazilian family or any family across the world is definitely, for me, I think, the true experience. And you're gonna, in my opinion, like, it's probably the best like life education I could have is living a different culture and, you know, just life experience.
Another thing I want you to talk about is the motorcycle culture here.
A
big thing that's important to me is if a country has motorcycle culture, I'm in on it. Asia, a lot of the Asian countries have the motorcycle culture. It's the smaller CCs. Here does have motorcycle culture. But tell me what you've found out kind of about that and how that is. I hear one of them now.
Yeah, the motorcycle culture here goes pretty crazy, and a lot of times Brazilian drivers in general seem to be really just careless.
Oh yeah, comfort. I feel like comfort is the last thing on their mind. We took an Uber yesterday, and the whole way back it's just like gas, 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 brake, dodge a pothole, miss a motorcycle guy. It's like, it's zero your comfort in the back, and it's more about just getting to the destination in one piece and as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and there's some things that you haven't seen yet. Like, there's some Brazilian roads not far from here at all that literally turn into just, you basically need a boat and a four-wheeler to go across it, because they're pretty intense. And we took an Uber one time to the middle of nowhere, and he basically I thought the bumper broke on the car and like the axle and all this, but he's just like, don't even say anything about it, and just whatever. And it was like, are we about to get swept away in a river right now? But anyway, so there's some really rough streets here, and drivers seem really careless, but I have 100% faith in Brazilian drivers more than I would have in my own if I were driving here, because I guess it's just how they grew up and they seem super careless. But I've never. I forgot about this. I saw the first time I came to Brazil. I saw a train get hit, or a train hit a car, and that's no
No
joke.
way.
Seriously, a train like somehow hit a car. I saw the aftermath. I didn't see it happen, but I saw it right after it happened. I forgot about that.
Jeez.
But yeah, so that was pretty crazy. But I've never like actually experienced.
A car accident or anything?
No, but I've had some friends here that have. Like, my good friend had a really bad motorcycle wreck. But, okay, in the motorcycle culture, I kind of got off that. But the motorcycle culture here does seem really careless. And, like, there's a lot of people out here in the ghetto. There is helmet laws everywhere. But here in the ghetto, there's really no police. And there's no enforcing of it. So there's a lot of people that ride down the streets and go hard on a wheelie, just like up a hill and over a speed bump, and you're like, this guy's about to crash, but they never do. So I'm sure they do, but I've never seen it happen. And like yesterday, we saw this guy, like, I'm not sure if he even had brakes. He was going down the hill, like, swerving just to, like,
yeah.
slow down, and there was a cat running across the road, and it's like, he's about to hit the cat, but of course he didn't, and he didn't wreck, so.
That was crazy.
Yeah, there's some,
What about public transportation? How do you feel about the public transportation?
I love it because I understand it more than I do in the U.S. And I guess that's just because I've spent more time on public transportation here. But for me, you can get on a train or a bus for about $1.25 or $1.50, and you can travel, like, if you have a card or whatever and you don't pay in cash, like, you reload your card, you have like a certain amount of time, and you can get a train and then get on a bus, and the bus is free or whatever. So it's pretty cheap to travel.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap and it's pretty quality.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I mean, it
quality.
seems to be pretty comparable to anywhere else in the world. You have a metro system that will, from what I saw, seem to take us pretty much everywhere. And it does get crowded. But I don't know. It's no worse than anywhere else. It seemed like it was pretty solid public transportation.
Yeah, the transportation. I mean, the most annoying part about it is, like, a lot of times, and during rush hour, since this is a huge city, there's like 20 plus million people in Sao Paulo. So obviously the trains and buses and stuff can get packed butt to gut. So that's pretty annoying. But most of the time, there's nothing bad about it. It's just a lot of people. But
What were you expecting before you came?
before I came to Brazil, literally I didn't know much at all about it. I watched some videos that were just basically talking about how safe I need to be and how dangerous it is, but I find that ought to be a bunch of baloney, because I don't find it to be that way, but I find it to be a great country. And anyway, so
Yeah, because I mean, I've heard that a lot too before. This is my first time in Brazil, and you've been telling me to come down for a long time and visit. And so I finally made my way down here, and I've only been here for a couple of days. But yeah, what I was hearing before is that the stereotypes where it's really dangerous. The women are dressed really skimpy, and partying's a huge part of the culture. And people are very open in public. Like, there's a lot of PDA that goes on in public, which I do find to be true. We were in a park yesterday, and because we went to the city center yesterday, and when we were walking around, there was people, literally the whole park was full of couples. Like, every bench had a couple on it, and every couple on the bench was making out. I mean, it wasn't anything too inappropriate, but they were kissing and making out. I feel like it's something that's common in this culture. And if you saw it, maybe something like that back in the U.S., you would look at it twice and be like, oh, what was that? What's going on?
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, I'm kind of accustomed to that now, but the first time I came to Brazil, like, it was a little shocking because, like, seeing girls in bikinis and stuff that were super small and everything, from an outsider's perspective, it kind of looks like skimpy or whatever, but there's definitely weird things, I think, about every culture if you're coming from a different one. And American bikinis to me are really ugly now and stuff like that. Like, I think that personally it's just like, I don't know, I've just grown to kind of, whatever, think differently about it. It's just, just because a girl's wearing a small skirt or whatever, it doesn't mean she's easier. It doesn't mean anything like that. You know, it's not going to be
What
true.
do you think, they are more promiscuous here than the U.S., or do you think it's the same, or not even as much so?
Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. It really, I guess, depends on the person, because you have super religious that walk around in long dresses, and then you have girls that walk around in basically nothing. And honestly, a lot of it has to do with the weather, because here, this is wintertime.
Yeah, I was about to say, I haven't seen since I've been here, and it's hot outside to me. Like, it's what?
Yeah, it's probably like 80s, at least 80s.
And I mean, it feels fine. I don't feel like it's super hot outside, but I definitely don't feel like it's cold. And you'll see Brazilians walking around in jackets and fully clothed.
Yeah,
so I guess it's cold to them. And Haisa, his girlfriend, was saying that she was cold yesterday. But I guess that's true of anywhere. Yeah, you hear the stereotypes, and the stereotypes usually do exist, but it's also not, almost always proves to not be as extreme as the stereotypes act like they are. Not everybody's walking around in skimpy clothes. You don't always see that in certain areas, and people do dress less modest, but it's not like kind of what you would picture it. And the same thing with crime.
Yeah.
Because all you hear about South America is crime. Like, it's dangerous. Well, you'll get mugged. Like, before I came out, the first thing I thought was going to happen to me is I was going to get mugged. But it doesn't. To me, I haven't felt in danger. And you've been here for a long time.
Yes.
And maybe you can talk a little bit more about the danger. Like, if you think crime is a problem here.
All right. Yeah, crime definitely. Well, it's a problem, but I think crime's a problem anywhere. You have good people and bad people, and I feel like 99% of, I mean, that's me talking serious about, I met so many Brazilians, thousands, and I can say that there was like one time that one was rude to me, but that's out of like thousands of people. And then crime-wise, let's see. I've seen crime happen a few times, but nothing too serious. But I've never really had crime happen to me. I've seen police foot chase. I literally watched this guy like 10 feet away from me take off sprinting right towards me. I think like he even brushed me. Like, it was as close to him full-blown tackling me. I didn't know what was going on. Anyway, these two police take off after him. And, you know, we're outside this, like, little restaurant. And there's a ton of people there, like, you know, screaming, oh, get him, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I think the guy got away, but that's beside the point. So I don't know what he was doing, but he was running from the police. But, you know, and then I saw, let's see, not too long ago I saw someone run from the police, and the cop didn't even attempt to chase him. He didn't care enough. So that's kind of a thing. Some police don't give a crap down here, you know, and that can be whatever, good and bad, I guess, according to whatever. Like, obviously criminals shouldn't do crime, but, like, you know, they're just more chill and relaxed. And then there was this one time, it was nighttime, I was waiting for my girlfriend to get out of college, and these kids wouldn't stop begging me to give them money, because that's something down here. Because I look like I'm not from here, they automatically assume I have money. Like, there's certain people begging on the streets, but anyway. And finally they wouldn't leave me alone, and I knew it was a dumb idea to pull out my wallet, but I did anyway, just to get them away from me. So I gave them like a couple dollars in their money, and when I was handing it to the kid, another kid came running out of nowhere and grabbed it and took off. So, I mean, that's like the closest thing to like a actual crime. I mean,
and it was technically against the other kid. Yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about the culture of Brazil, what to expect when you come down here.
Alright, in Brazil, I consider like almost probably everyone. I feel like I've met so many Brazilians, and they're all super chill out. Like, they never really stress about anything, and they're just super relaxed, and I really enjoy that. So, and they love to party, they love to have fun, they love to dance, which I hate dancing. That's one thing that I don't care for, but, you know, if other people dance, that's cool. But I don't know, super hospitable to me and treat me like family, and it's a real family atmosphere. Like, from the first day I ever came here, I felt like, you know, instead of like handshakes and stuff, they're giving you hugs and just automatically like taking you into the family. So I find that like a really good thing. Overall, Brazilians are super religious, I think. Like, not every single one, but like, there's churches as much as there's churches in Alabama, if not more. Like, because we have like 2 churches on this little tiny road, and they have service, like, I want to say probably, I think like, you could go to church every single day here if you wanted to. Like, maybe not the same church, but they have church at least, the same church probably has it at least 4 or 5 nights a week. Like, in Cristo Redentor, like Christ the Redeemer, the statue, you know, I guess that's a big part to people here. I mean, like, you know, they say that Jesus looks down on the whole city and stuff, so that's, you know, they're pretty religious people overall, I would say.
And people are really friendly, I find. So far, since I've been here, it seems like everybody's really friendly. People talk to you, they're kind, interactive when they start talking. But I wonder, like, does Raíssa feel that from other Brazilians, or if it's kind of like a thing as a foreigner, they see a foreigner and they're like, oh man, this is interesting, and then they're really nice to you?
No, like, in my experience, I think that all Brazilians are basically, they don't really realize, I guess, how friendly they are until, like, you know, I know a lot of Brazilians that have traveled abroad and stuff, and they think, you know, sometimes people seem a little cold, like, you know, not so friendly and stuff, but, you know, it just, I guess, depends on where and who, but people here just kind of, you know, invite you in their house and, you know, cook a meal for you. And in the U.S., I feel like I have to make these planned out plans with my friends to hang out. Like, I gotta text them in advance and call them, and, like, you know, it's not like, if you show up at someone's door, a lot of times they just kind of get upset about it or something. But
yeah, it's almost like, okay, what do you do? You couldn't call before you came over?
But here it's basically like, you can go to their house anytime and go in or whatever, and they just do it here. And I mean, sometimes that is a little frustrating, but I mean,
real quick though, is this the egg guy?
Yeah, this is
the egg guy. Okay, we're gonna try to see if we can see the egg guy.
This guy drives around at least probably 3 times a week, at least 3 days a week. I mean, and he's selling for 30 eggs for 10 reais, which is basically less than $3. So, pretty good deal.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the price too, because a lot of people think it's really cheap here, and that's kind of one of the incentives to come in and traveling here is like, oh yeah, but everything's cheap, the food's cheap, you know, staying somewhere's cheap. Do you find that to be true? You find it to be pretty cheap here?
Yeah, if you have an American income, I would definitely consider it pretty cheap, especially for like living in a city. Like, you could compare Sao Paulo to like New York City or wherever, but the price comparison would be, yeah, Sao Paulo's way cheaper. And on Brazilian income, the average Brazilian may make like $400 a month. So I don't consider it crazy, ridiculously expensive here for them, but I don't consider it super cheap for them either. It's not, you're not starving. You have plenty of food and you have a good life, I think. So
yeah, but if you're making US dollar and then you come here with your US dollar, it goes a long way.
Yeah, the US dollar can go a long way. Like
the conversion rate's what, 4 to 1?
It's almost 4 to 1. It's probably like 3.8 to $1 here. So, and you can almost think of the almost the dollar, like $1 to us in the US is almost like one here.
What's some other things people can expect when they come here that's maybe different, they didn't expect, or they never heard about before they got here? And one of the things that I was thinking about that reminded me of this was the toilets. Is like, when you get here and you use the toilet, you're not supposed to put toilet paper in the toilet and flush it, because it can stop up the septic tank and it'll overflow and it'll mess up everything. So what's something kind of like that people, maybe you could tell them about so that they'll know before they get here?
Well, here's one thing, like, you can't expect fancy appliances. That's one thing. Like, people might have a little small little washing machine for clothes and no dryer, or they might not have any. A lot of people wash stuff by hand, so I think stuff gets cleaner that way. That's one thing. And like a shower, for example, the shower is heated by, the hot water is heated by electricity coming straight out of the shower head. So it looks kind of sketchy sometimes when you're taking a shower and there's some wiring out there, but it seems to work.
It's done by pressure. So if you turn the pressure up, it doesn't have enough time to heat to come out, so it'll be cooler water. And so you just kind of have to play with it. But it's something that's weird at first. But it does. I mean, once you take one shower, you figure it out if somebody kind of explains it to you.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, no one explained it to me like the first 3 times I came here. And like, I never thought to ask, because by the time I got done taking a freezing cold shower, I was like just miserable, and I didn't really think to ask them about it. But it works once you figure it out, and I think it saves money also because you don't have gas heating it or whatever.
So do you have any advice for anybody who's traveling to Brazil?
Alright, just like anywhere in the world, I would say do a little bit of research anyway, just to know what to expect. But don't be afraid at all, because there's no reason to be afraid, I don't think. Be open-minded to whatever. Like I said before, Brazil is just one big family, and you're going to have a great time if you come here. Just treat people with respect, and they're going to treat you with respect. 99% of the time that's going to be the case.
It's been good talking to you, Cody. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for having me here in Brazil. You've been very hospitable. And until next time, God bless. And how do you say
God bless.
Goodbye and
Ciao.
Ciao.
Achi mais is see you later.
All right, so I'll just stick with ciao.
Yeah, ciao.
Ciao.
Soy chileno, es un sentimiento, no puedo parar. Y cantando, ole, 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 hola, Chile, ole, 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 cada día te quiero más. No, soy chileno, es un sentimiento, no puedo parar. Y cantando, ole, ole, ole.
When you talk about the toilet paper, I can't handle it. You talk about what's the little thing different about the culture, and then you start talking about toilet paper. There's something so funny about that. I'm sorry.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, talk about the shower head first.
No.
Okay. If we laugh, we're going with it.
Yeah.
I winged it last time.
Exactly.
We're just gonna wing it.
Exactly. Okay, so what's some things that you can kind of tell people about, or let people know what to expect coming here that's maybe different, or something that they wouldn't know about until they got here? For example, like something I was kind of thinking about was the it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
I can't do it, dude. I can't talk about the toilet paper. You make me laugh every time.